In this video, I'm going to talk about the new album by 3 Days Grace called Explosions, released on May 6, 2022. First, I'll talk a little about the band and their musical style. Then I'll talk about the songs, and I'll talk about the lyrics. I talk about lyrics. They are a major component of the music, as well as the heavy guitars and that like signature sound. The band is from Ontario, Canada. They're based in Toronto. They started in 1997 under the name Groundswell, but they later changed it to 3 Days Grace. The idea behind that name was that if you only had like 3 days to make a change in your life, what would you do? They're currently signed to RCA Records. They have released 6 studio albums, and each of them have been in like 3-year intervals. So Self-Titled 2003, 1X in 2006, Life Starts Now 2009, Transit of Venus in 2012, Human 2015, Outsider 2018, and Explosion in 2022. And yeah, I know the last one was 4 years, but we can blame the pandemic for that. The music has been described as post-grunge, hard rock, alternative metal, alternative rock, and new metal. They have used electronics in their albums as well, more than the later ones. Current members are Brad Waste on bass, Neil Sanderson on drums, Barry Stock on lead guitar, Matt Waste on lead vocals, and they had another vocalist for the band's first few albums. That was Adam Gontier. So the band was very big in the early 2000s, and what drew me to this band were their lyrics. They had very relatable and emotional lyrics. They were compared to like emo bands at the time, but the musical style was different. So for example, on this new album, there are a few songs that stood out lyrically. One of them was A Scar Is Born. The song is about painful experiences we go through that leave a scar in us. So for example, one of the lines says, "When the love's one-sided and you're uninvited, a scar is born, a scar is born." Now, tell me you've never experienced something like that. Another song that stood out is called A Chain of Abuse. This is about someone who's been abused and afraid to trust someone again. So there's some lyrics like, you think that everybody hates you, but I don't. When everybody tries to use you, I won't. So I really like those lyrics. And I'll talk about the other songs in the album. The first song is called So-Called Life. Starts with heavy guitars, electronic sounds. Actually, it reminded me of Rammstein. I know I've been like binge listening to that band for the past 2 weeks, but the vocals range from like harsh to melodic. I know there's one point he actually sounds like he's doing like this like Dave Mustaine impression. The song has a catchy chorus and like these angry and emotional lyrics. I Am the Weapon has a new metal style, these guitar riffs, some electronics. And the song is very like bouncy rhythm. The guitars are very chunky. They alternate between distorted riffs and palm muted riffs. Neurotic is a slower paced song with a thick like futuristic sounding riffs. The song features Lucas Rossi. He is a Canadian rock singer and like a reality TV show winner. This one is slow, moody, emotional, has lots of layers of sound, big guitars, and emotional lyrics. Lifetime is a ballad that has vocals in the forefront. The band plays like a slightly country style music mixed with like, the hard rock sound. The lyrics are emotional, it's very catchy, it's very memorable. They do incorporate some like heavy guitars in the chorus. It's a good song. It sticks with you after you listen to it. Souvenirs is another ballad. This one reminds me of like Linkin Park a little. Lyrics, the singer's reminiscing about the past. Vocals sound slightly distorted. I like the emotion in the song, but I also think it has very crisp and clean, like modern pop, production style. Despite all this, I still like the song. No Tomorrow is a mid-paced rocker. This one has thick and heavy guitars like the others. I think the song is okay. It's just not as memorable as the others, but like the other songs, I like the lyrical content. The lyrics are very uplifting, and they say like the cure for the sorrow is to live like there's no tomorrow. Talking about breaking away from the past. Redemption is another ballad. Acoustic guitars in the intro, a thick bass sound. Another song with a very modern pop production, but it's a decent song. Not one of the most memorable ones in the album, but like the others, the lyrics are very well written and emotional. Champion is a good song. It has that old school sound close to their first few albums. Has the heavy riff in the intro, the uplifting lyrics, kind of tell the world, look at me, look at what I've done. It's a very good song. It's more of their classic sound. Someone to Talk To is another ballad. This one has the band Apocalyptica. That's the band that played those Metallica songs on the cello many years ago. And the song is slow, atmospheric, emotional. This one's okay. But, at this point in the album, I start to feel that, there are a lot of ballads, but This one has some orchestral instrumentation. I think that's where Apocalyptica comes in as well. So the final song, Explosions. It's another fairly slow and emotional song, and it has a sound closer to like the first few albums again. It's a decent song, not one of my favorites, but I think it works well as an album closer. In conclusion, this album was good. I think it may be kind of heavy on the ballads. I felt it needed to have like a few more heavy rockers. The album has a very like polished modern pop style of production, but the band usually, does that in the last few albums at least. Best part of the albums were the lyrics. They were very emotional, very relatable. The kind of lyrics you listen to and you could think about a time you went through the same thing, or at least for me it was. I felt the guitar riffs were kind of lacking. They weren't really original or memorable. There were some really good songs like Champion and So-Called Life. I like those. The songs that I liked the best lyrically were Lifetime, A Scar Is Born, No Tomorrow, and Chain of Abuse. I will give this album an 8 out of 10, mostly for the songwriting. Let me know what you thought. So coming up next, the new album by Hailstorm, and the new album by Fozzy, and the new album by Motor Sister. So those will be all new releases. I'll do those in like the next 3 days. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next